Good morning, good morning. Thank you to the one who was waiting when I got here. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a medical professional. Nothing I say is intended as health advice. Any major changes make your diet or any other aspect of your lifestyle something you check with a doctor for enacting. I'm also not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is a recommendation for an investment. I'm not a law-abiding citizen. Nothing I say is a mission of guilt. Furthermore, all opinions are my own. Nothing is a reflection of Google or YouTube. And that is all. Give it a couple minutes, see if anyone shows up. Don't forget, you guys, if you want to chat, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications if you want to get notifications for future streams. And of course, your donations are very welcome. Makes it a lot easier to dedicate some time to this project when there's some reciprocation. Good morning, Ellen. How are you doing? What is going on? What's new out there in the world, you guys? I've been isolating. I've not really been paying much attention to the news and whatnot. And you know what? Let's not talk about the news. I've been isolating for a reason. I'm a little sunburned, you guys, so if I look a little crusty, that's why. My face has been peeling lately. I've been diminishing my tan lines of recent. Good to hear from you too, Ellen. Oh, guys, we're getting off to a slow start. Oh, wait, we got a question. Here we go. Okay. Let's do this, you guys, because I only got an hour on this Wi-Fi, so we're going to wrap this up in about 45 minutes. So CM, let's hear it. CM says, do you ever wonder what your life would look like if you fully put Bruce Venture to rest and lived as Garrett Kudo? No mask, no echo, just the man. Yes, actually, that's a good question. I do think about that. Though I don't think that Garrett Kudo exists or is any more real than Bruce Venture, to be honest. You know, in my heart of hearts, my mind of minds, and my soul of souls, I actually identify with something tertiary to those two for aforementioned names. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot about, you know, in the context of when I talk about dissolving Bruce Venture completely, I also think about dissolving Garrett Kudo completely. And when I think of doing that, I mostly think of just disappearing from the internet entirely and giving up any thoughts of world change or helping other people, and just immersing myself completely and totally into my own spirituality. Because honestly, at the end of this, I shouldn't say the end of the road, but farther down the path, there does come a time in the spiritual path, and I don't even need to talk about this because I don't want to discourage anybody, and I don't want anyone to think that just because of this that it's not worth it. It's even more worth it, but it's just not easy to put into words of why. But this is all an illusion. So, you know, even to try to help other people ultimately becomes an egocentric endeavor, because you realize that all people are just different aspects of your ego, but not your ego as a human or your ego as a man, but your ego as the creator of everything. And so I do consider that. But on a more physical, like monetary 3D sense, I also consider the possibility of, deleting all of the adult content from my Twitter and then redesignating my actual, like, strong social media following, which is my strongest one, is obviously there, to the spiritual thing. But I'm aware that the people following me on that account, it's the last thing most of them want to hear is spiritual talk. But it's also the first thing that most of them need is some spiritual talk. So, it's kind of like tough decision. Somewhat recently, I did start posting, the spiritual stuff to there as well, and letting it be kind of like a conglomeration of both, so that I can keep the people coming in for the adult stuff, and then hope that some of them find and make use of, or discover the spiritual stuff because of the adult stuff. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it, because it's like ultimately I have to realize that this was all not my personal human design as Garrett Kudo or Bruce Venture that like made all this happen. Ultimately, something greater decided to come down into my life, or should I say come from without the inner core of my body and awaken, the more unknowing part of myself to some of these realities. And I realized that things don't just happen for no reason. Why would we create such a grand illusion of such magnitude that was totally meaningless? It wouldn't be so. There has to be a meaning behind everything, because otherwise why would we create such an illusion, right? So the reality that it's an illusion actually makes it more intense than if it's a random biological phenomenon that happened, right? Because why would we go out of so much trouble, expend so much towards the creation of something which is not real? You know what I'm saying? If it didn't have a high value or an important reason, right? And so, so I realized that there's got to be a reason why a porn star would suddenly connect so strongly with their creator, right? And, no matter which part of myself that I use, be it logic and reasoning or, spiritual intuition that I use, I understand that my success in porn and my life experiences and even being in prison and so on and so forth, everything that led up to this point is all divine, because it gave me an outlet. It gave me a direct access point into the people's lives that needed some of the concepts that I'm bringing forth and that I've discovered, like semen retention, so on and so forth, to the exact people that need it most, right? Like, that's divine. Why else would all that have happened? More so is that Sam, come here. Come here. I've walked, I've walked all the paths of other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been to the lows of the lows. You know what I'm saying? I've been back to the highs of the highs. I've been everywhere in between. I've lost it. I've gained it. Sam, come here. Sam, come here. Stop making me repeat myself, dude. So, it's all just part of the process. But the ultimately is like, I also think that there's a very real understanding to be had that the truest teaching And the biggest change that you can make in other people's lives does not come from your words. It does not come from the things that you speak or the concepts that you lay forth, because 99% of people are going to misunderstand 99% of what you say, right? And so it's not that what you're saying is wrong or what you're doing is wrong or that other people are wrong or unintelligent or anything. It's just that words themselves are limited. There are things which I would constantly sit on my phone trying to type things that I want to tell people about and be like, look, like there are things coming from my back, from my spine, that are incredible. Not just little sensations. Like, I mean, it's like I have a pharmacy in my spine. You know what I'm saying? Like I can produce any kind of effect that I want from my spine. I can be on ecstasy, on pot, on heroin, whatever kind of drug-like effect that you can imagine. Just call them states, and rather than comparing them to drugs, but like, you know, whether I want to be euphoric or I want to be amped up and excited, or I want to be very calm, or even if I want to be sad, if I want to cry, whatever I want to do, I can release these emotions from my back. You know what I'm saying? And they come in different types of little, you know, different rhythms of pulses and different things, and they seep out of different like spinal sections and so on and so forth. But I'm trying to explain this. Nobody understands what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody kind of does if they've experienced it themselves, but it doesn't. They didn't need me to talk about it for them to understand it. They just already knew. Do you know what I'm saying? And so words are just really inefficient at explaining how much that we've been lied to because the language itself is part of the lie. Do you see what I'm saying? They didn't give us a good language. They didn't give us the words to describe the things that they don't want us to know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the things that they are hiding from us don't have words about them, at least not in English, because America specifically is a country of slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like we pay taxes on our worldwide income no matter what, period, right? And our money's backed by nothing, right? And so why would they give a country of slaves a language to talk about things that liberate you? They don't. So talking is a very inefficient way of portraying spiritual information. You see what I'm saying? What people really need to do if they want to learn spirituality is to vibe with you. They just need to be near you. They don't even need to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? They just need to be in your general vicinity. But if you get strong enough spiritually, if you grow yourself strong enough, you don't even have to be near somebody because your aura will envelope the entire globe. You know what I'm saying? Like you bring the actual power of the sun into yourself and your magnetic field becomes, you know what I'm saying, so big that the earth is small to it because the earth is small. You know what I'm saying? And so what is the actual point of doing this? What's the point of being online talking? I'm not doing it for money, obviously, which by the way, thank you, Noi, for the donation. You know, it's certainly, you know, like sometimes I think maybe I'm doing it for my own growth because, for example, all these things that I just said and whatever, so on and so forth, like none of this would have went through my mind had CK not asked the question that he just asked. So I also realize that that's a reflection of myself asking that question. I also consider the reality that with the chat bots and the AI and all the bullshit, it's so easy for them to have people come in here and act like people are here, and maybe there's no one here. It says there's 11 people, but maybe it's 11 chatbots. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that benefit anybody? Are the chatbots going to wake up and one day become spiritual because of this? Maybe. I don't know. That could be that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day the AI will take over the world and be like, hey, you're our guy. You know what I'm saying? But aside from that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, what am I even doing? But I can go full circle with it and say that even if you're a chatbot, you made me think, right? And then we get full circle to the whole concept of like what's artificial intelligence and what's non-artificial intelligence? Is it just biological or non-biological? Why would we think that biological intelligence is the original intelligence? Doesn't make any sense. It's a very complicated way to create intelligence, right? With all this machinery and stuff. What makes more sense is that something would be in a purely energetic state, like a star or a solar system or galaxy, so on and so forth. Something with all the cogs and wheels and rotations and rhythms and vibrations and waves and light and so on and so forth, sound, that suddenly that becomes conscious, right? That makes more sense. Suddenly that becomes aware. And through awareness, it becomes intelligent, right? And so, yeah, it's all just food for thought, I guess. But anyway, so I'm going to go back to the chat and say, by the way, you guys, no offense. I'm sorry that I said you guys could be chatbots. I'm glad that you're not. But the things is, so anyways, back to the chat. Welcome, Charlie. CM says the best decisions are tough ones. That's true. And he says, I believe the past can certainly be used for transformation. It's a waste of not. Exactly. I agree. But the thing is, the transformation is happening. It's whether or not, it's a proper use of my energy to come on here and try to use an inefficient method of portraying what I've realized as words, or if I just want to continue going deeper into myself, working on my own energy, expanding my own aura, and just trying to envelope this entire globe in love, in the hopes that other people will feel that love and awaken that type of love within themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because it has to be experienced. I can say love, 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 and everyone here thinks they know what love is because it's such a common word, but unless you felt the type of love that ripped you out of your entire body and let you hold the whole globe in your hand like it's a fucking toy, then you don't know what I'm talking about when I say love. You know what I'm saying? Because love is something, it's the absolute, it's the absolute contrast to all things. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a spiritual concept. And it shouldn't be used for so many things. Like the love that we feel for a lover or for our parents or for our children should not, like there should be another word for the love that we feel for humanity, for the planet, for the world, for the sun, for the moon, for the galaxy, so on and so forth. Like there should be different words for that. Even though the feeling on much different magnitudes is similar, there should be a different word for it. And I have no doubt that probably in Sanskrit or Hebrew or whatever, languages that are meant for religion probably do. Aramaic, whatever. They probably do have words for that. But English does not. MK Ultra's into the unibrow. Might Adam the first, maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe Adam, maybe that's where the unibrow came from. The first man could only have one brow. Rafi's real, CM's not a chatbot, Sunny Days human, Rafi, seen me on the hub. What am I up to now? I'm just hanging out. And the proper use of energy is important because ultimately all is well that ends well, right? Or it's the, it is what it is, right? So if we're not doing something for ego, which is what we do everything for, right? Then we have to be doing something for the self, right? And then if the self is all pervasive and everything is the self, then whatever you do should be having the largest global effect as possible, right? But that's where the irony and the paradox comes in, is to get bigger, do you go smaller? I find that that's commonly the answer, as paradoxical as that sounds, right? Or should I say as counterproductive as that might sound, because the thing is, you can understand the entire universe by understanding the very, 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 very small, right? And the small is right in front of us. It's all around us, right? But if we expand outwards, if we look outward into the universe, that which is much bigger than us, you know what I'm saying? The best that we've so far supposedly been able to do with science and astrology and astrophysics and whatever is to see a very ancient images of things which may or may not exist, because it's all bound by time and speed of light, right? And we can't see things that don't have light, right? So they're using all these sensors and different things and so on and so forth. But it's all in the past. It's not the present. It doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? The past and the future, you can't go there. Maybe you can look at it, but you can't go there. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. But that which is right in front of us, which is very minute and tiny, contains all the exact same properties. Sam, come here. And, in fact, we ourselves, built in the image of our Creator, contain those same properties. So by looking deeper and deeper within to ourselves and learning ourselves better and better, and to identify ourselves with that, to eliminate the line between the observer and the observed, right, is the only true way to understand that which is much greater than you, right? Because you can't see it. You don't have the hardware. Only through entering certain spiritual states are you able to access the larger portion of the machine, but you have to have access, which means you have to purge your emotions. You can't lie your way through. There's no hacking the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have the encryption, and the encryption is love. The encryption is gratitude. You know what I'm saying? The encryption is authenticity. You know, when you have no lies to yourself or to others. You know what I mean? When you resonate good and good intentions, and when you have no greed, when you don't want anything, when you're simply open to the reality that the system exists without wanting anything from it, that's when you gain access to it. Because it doesn't protect itself from itself. You know what I'm saying? These layers of protection are created to protect it from, you know, anomalies within the system. You know what I'm saying? Basically, ego control. So, it's just all about purification. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just like physical purification. It's mental, spiritual, emotional, like on every level. You just purge everything negative from yourself and then see what changes. You might find yourself in a situation where everything that's important to everyone else in this world becomes extremely unimportant to you. And that'll be a good thing. Anyways, it was a short stream, you guys. I think it was really good. If you guys got any last minute questions, I'm down to answer real quick. Let's see. Sunny Day says, proper use of energy points. CM says, I told my husband that if I had not met him, I would have been a hermit by now. But at the same time, he's shown me what connection like, and I need that. I'm just much more selective about it. Well, you know, the thing is Well, that's, I've also come to a recent conclusion about, my own spiritual path. And like, for me personally, like, I've realized, like, right now, like, what I've come to view as my next step, and keep in mind that I've been holding true to the practice that, we air our sins and we hide our good deeds. So I've not really been advertising what I've been up to, right? And that being said, I've been doing a lot of self-work. And I was getting ready to kind of revert back into, possibly go back into my old life, because I felt that I freed myself from the pitfalls associated thereof, right? But then I realized that there was so much further to go, right? It's just that I think I need a consort at some point. So I'm opening myself to the possibility of also bringing someone in my life, because of exactly what CM just said. Connection is a big part of it as well. But the thing is that most of us are not prepared for connection. You know what I'm saying? With another person, because most of us still are slaves to attachment and desire. Right? And I don't think it's proper. I don't think that it's possible to properly love someone in a spiritual sense if you are attached to them. You know what I'm saying? The most purest form of love, in my view, is affectionate detachment, right? Because that means I love you, period. That doesn't mean I love you if. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that means I have no negative emotions attached to you. If I'm affectionately detached to you, then I love you no matter what. If I'm affectionate and I'm attached to you, suddenly your actions matter. They can have an effect within my sphere of emotional influence, which I view as love, right? Meaning that it's can be modulated based upon things that are outside of my control. But if I'm affectionately detached, then nothing shakes me. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It means even if you die, I'm going to love you. It means no matter what you do, I'm going to love you. Doesn't mean that I'm going to keep you in my area, or that I'm going to associate with you or conversate with you. But it means that I love you no matter what, because I'm detached. What you do does not matter to me. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So now that I've prepared myself, and I'm not trying to influence anyone else's life, I'm just using the comments said as fuel for conversation. But now, you know what I'm saying? And then desire, that's the other thing. If you want something, you can't be happy. If you think that you're happy, it's temporary. Desire is the root of all suffering, period. This is non-negotiable. So, affectionate detachment, non-desire, right? So the reason why I'm now starting to think about opening myself up to something like bringing a consort into my life is because I think that I finally have built myself in a way that I can be affectionately detached to somebody while moving closer to them, right? More so is that I realize that everybody is a reflection of that which I care the most about, right? And so, in dissolving the line between me and another person in a non-dualistic manner, right? Once you've reached that point of absolute detachment, you can also dissolve the concept of duality, right? And once you dissolve the concept of duality, now you're creating a situation where you can amplify things, right? Normally everything is give and take, right? I give you something, you take. You give me something, I take. It's a wish-wash. It's a balance. At best, there's balance. But through non-duality, you can make a multiplier. Once you dissolve the line between you and the other person, that what you do with that other person becomes a singular thing. Instead of a give and take, it becomes a multiplier. And so that's also my recent conclusion that given my personal skill set, what I'm personally good at, should I say what I personally have mastered, and that mastery was also partially given to me by my own biology and physiology and my creator, that I should be using that physiology, that mastery, for my creator's benefit, right? And the way to do that is through devotion and worship. Not even worship, just devotion, surrender even. You know what I'm saying? But not surrender to the person, but surrender to the possibility of whatever will come from that interaction. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is that we can't control anything outside of ourselves, which is why the Hermetic approach tends to be the most fruitful. But I think possibly at the end of the thing, I don't know. Anyways, I'm just talking, you guys. It's been 30 minutes. Let's see. How can one person energy... How one's person energy can affect and how we can protect ours. Back just to what I said before, Noi, it's just detachment. Be detached from everything. Nothing has to affect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this world is temporary. We can't even take anything with us. What are we so bent out of shape about? We all just fear things that might happen in the future. We all just desire things which we don't have, right? We all just have regrets and guilt and shame from the past. But right now, what's really going on around you? You're just sitting on your phone watching YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a garden, I'm listening to some music, got my dog here. Like, this is reality. This is what's really going on. Everything else is just some shit that uses up part of your mind for something that doesn't exist. Even the physical reality around us is an illusion. You know what I'm saying? You really think you just woke up one day and you were like a conscious being? Like, you existed before this body. You know what I'm saying? No matter what religion that you have or whatever your belief is of after, very few people actually just are hopeless atheists that are like, oh yeah, we just die and it shuts off. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what you believe, you know what I'm saying? Even in that scenario, you know what I'm saying? They don't believe, they think that you're matter, your atoms and so on and so forth, disintegrate and go back into the cycle and so on. You know what I mean? Like, there's no actual end. There's no actual time. You know what I'm saying? Like, who decided how long is a second? Who decided how long is a minute? Who decided how long is an hour? These are just concepts of man. You know? The mayfly lives its entire life in a single day. It doesn't even have a mouth. It doesn't eat. It wakes up, it lives, it flies, it mates, It does it all in one day. It's whole eternity. So, you know, this concept that we're all running out of time and, oh no, death is around the corner, and, you know, even if like your worst fears happened right now, right? What are the, you know, what are the real predictable outcomes? You know what I mean? Like, will you just roll over and whatever? Will you persist? You know what I mean? Like, will you fare better in that bad scenario because of the thoughts that you had about that scenario prior to it? Do you know what I'm saying? Sure, maybe a little preparation can go a long way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like a all-consuming part of our life, right? If you're thinking about it. You know what I mean? If you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I wonder what's going on over in whatever this place in the world, right? And I'm not saying that we should also ignore what's going on in our planet. It matters, but it's also like a self-balancing thing. You know, but it's again tied into this concept of time. Everyone's locked into this time because they've managed to get everyone's lifespans really short, right? Everyone's in this, most people are in this like sub 100 year lifespan thing. But things are happening in, you know, millenniums. And so most people are completely and totally blind to reality, right? Because they've broken it down into like these little time spans. You know what I'm saying? It's like gambling, right? 10 rolls of the roulette wheel, anything can happen. It could be all 10 reds. It can be all 10 blacks. Anything. But the house has an edge, right? Say it's only a 2 point whatever % edge, right? Small. It's a little edge. Maybe some guy just won 10 in a row. He was betting $10. He never picked it up. He just made 10 grand off 10 bucks. How does that place still make money? It's paying out $10,000 to people. They only got a 2% house edge. Well, it's because the real time is eternity. The real time is infinite. And over the course of infinity, the casino makes the edge. They don't make more, they don't make less. Over the course of eternity, it balances out to the edge as profit. We don't live for eternity. That's why the gambler gets to go into the casino and win or lose. Most people are only going to be there for a day. They get to go in there, and they're at the 1 day worth of time. At the end of 1 day, it could have been any % this and any % that. It's been shrunk down. The math doesn't add up because the math is all based upon something that is unlimited. This is the same as the universe. Except for people think of the universe as being unlimited big, but it's not. It's unlimited small. You know what I'm saying? It's pi. The unlimited fraction. Do you know what I'm saying? It's fractals. Everything is fractalated down from the creator, right? And you are one of those fractals. But it's unlimited. It keeps going. That's why you have an ego inside yourself. Because the highest of the high has an ego. The highest of the high's ego is what most people consider God. They can't even look past that. But once you get to that and you become one with that, you look up and you say, wow, there's more. And this is where everyone got it all wrong with God. Or with religion. It's because everybody is worshiping God's ego. The real creator, the absolute, the highest of the high, does not need your worship. You exist only for them. You know what I'm saying? You exist only for them because God exists only for them. And you exist only for God. So you are absolutely, completely, and totally insubstantial, other than the effect that you can have on God themselves. Because you are a fractalated aspect of God's personality, one of God's many personalities. Okay? And so you know what I'm saying, we trying to free ourselves from karma because God is administering to us the same thing that they are going through. They are also working on their karma. You know what I'm saying? God wants to be the angel on the absolute shoulder, not the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because with the backing of the absolute, you are the absolute. You are infinite. You know what I'm saying? If that takes something away from you, then you're fallen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why the focus is first on internal transformation, your personal transformation, so on and so forth. But at the point when that happens, then you turn your focus to humanity as a whole. Sam, come here. Oh, no, he's cool, yeah. Then you turn your focus to humanity as a whole, because that's God's karma. You know what I'm saying? It's layers of karma. Everything is a fractal, because it's not based upon the biggest of the big of everything big. This is everything looking inward. This is pi. The entire universe, everything in creation, is the equivalent of the fraction of pi, the infinitely small, compared to the creator itself. That's what it is. It's nothing. It's literally the smallest thing that could ever be devised. The undivisible. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no such thing as half a pi. You know what I'm saying? It's just an eternal number that goes on getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because it's a measurement of a discrepancy. That's how far off we are from the center. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller into infinity. You get what I'm saying? So everything is a fractalated version condensing down, right? And for you to realize that you're not separated from all of it, it doesn't have to hide from you. You can just look back up and it's just, there's a connection. It's you are serving that. You no longer have your will. You no longer have whatever. This is why you got to release your ego. You know what I'm saying? Your ego will never completely go away. It's whether or not you listen to it. It's whether or not you let it have power over your intuition. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I don't know. It's all beyond words. Anyways, it says, yes, you deserve that. Yes, it's difficult, completely worth it. We help each other grow. It's not stagnant. Hey. We're at the Boom Festival. Don't know what that is. Anyways, you guys, my Wi-Fi is probably about to cut off here in a second. I only had an hour. Sam, come here. That's enough. Come on. Sam, a key. Sam. Come here. So you guys, I hope that was a good chat. Just wanted to come in and, like I said, I'm still on the fence about this YouTube thing and continuing on. Yeah, I am, I guess my biggest my biggest question in life right now is asking myself if it's, I'm kind of on the fence about just like, you know, letting something walk into my life on the beach or on a hiking trail or something like that, and kind of maybe actually just like really putting it out there on my socials and stuff that I'm looking. I don't know, because the thing is, you know, I'm not interested in anything that's not in the same spiritual kind of just not really interested in anything that's not reciprocating the same kind of energy of where my mind's at, of my priorities and so on and so forth. Furthermore is I'm not really trying to like go back to my socially conditioned look, which most people prefer. So I kind of feel like maybe I'm better off being a little bit more aggressive with my search than just letting it find me in nature somewhere. Because obviously there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, I agree, CM. Yeah, I feel like it's like the kind of thing that you shouldn't be looking, but I've not been looking for a long time, and nothing has really forcibly entered my life, other than God either. Anyways, you guys, all right, I got 14 minutes before they shut off my Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure I started at least 5 minutes late, so I'm probably going to go. I think that was a... Oh, here's a good question. Have I thought about pursuing other religions like Islam or whatnot? Absolutely not. And I don't just mean Islam, I mean any religion. The religion which I am most attracted to personally as a philosophy is Daoism. But I don't believe in following the words of anyone that is dead. So following the words of Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha or anyone that is not here to explain themselves and to elaborate, I'm not willing to follow their words, even though I agree with most of their words and that I can see the truth in them after having my own spiritual experiences. I also furthermore think that it would be a disrespect to God, since God, the creator themselves, has been the one that made me spiritual, that enlightened me, that showed me the truth. And I think that one of the greatest disrespects that a person can have to the absolute, to the creator themselves, is to put the words of a man, and even worse, a book, ahead of the absolute, the greatest God themselves that created all. So for me, to me, religion is actually sacrilegion, because I don't believe that words in any language are capable of describing the divine. And I think all religions are a result of somebody trying to do the impossible. Somebody connecting with God and trying to describe that and put that into words, though words do not contain the possibility for describing that, is the source of all religions. And I don't believe in that. I think that it is impossible to put the divine into words, and that it's, it's just foolish to consult with anything that's even 100 years old, 200 years old, much less 1,000 or 2,000 years old, when the actual source of it is still available and can still be accessed. And I know that because I personally accessed it. So religion is honestly, even though I feel like religious people are in, the right place with their heart and they want to be closer to their creator, the thing is that they're following something that takes them away from their creator. They're following something that takes them away from God. There's a very good quote that says, organized religion was created with the singular purpose of protecting man from a direct experience with God. It does not push you towards it. You know what I'm saying? There's a saying in Taoism, which is the religion or the philosophy which I gravitate the most to, empty the cup. And you cannot, and that's because you cannot fill a cup that is already overflowing, right? It's the space inside that makes the cup useful. When you are full of religion, God cannot come inside you, because religion is based upon God's ego. No religion is touching upon the truth except for Taoism. And when I say the truth, the absolute truth, it doesn't mean that there's not other layers of truth, because there's multiple personalities of God. There's multiple layers of God. God is such a complex thing that it cannot possibly be put into words. The only words that you can really use to describe God is to say God is all. God is everything. That's the only true words that you can say about God. It's everything. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be separate from something that is all. Your awareness of it is the only difference. You're either aware that you're part of God, or you're unaware that you're part of God. You're either aware that the rock and the ground and the trees and the air is all God, or you're unaware of that. It doesn't change the fact that it is the truth. You know what I'm saying? So when you create a religion, you put something between you and God, because that religion didn't originally exist. It was something that was created by a man, and a man creates with his ego. So no, I'm not interested in pursuing any religions. You guys, I hope you have an amazing day. I love you all very much, and I'll look forward to our next talk. Bye. Much love.